sort of jockey would you like to say?
I just want to win the Melbourne Cup.
She proudly rode like a girl all the way into history.
Here's Prince of Penzance from Michelle Payne. Prince of Penzance, it's history in Flemington, Michelle Payne.
Then, Australian actor Rachel Griffiths came knocking.
This is the greatest Australian sports film ever made, and I want to make it.
Hello, I'm Melissa Doyle. We'll get in the saddle with Rachel Griffiths, Mick Malloy and the fabulous Stevie Payne a little later. But first, imagine waking up one morning and sounding like a completely different person. A person who comes from a place far away. It's known as foreign accent syndrome, and as Matt Doran discovered, it is one of the most mysterious of all medical conditions.
She sells seashells by the seashore. It's quite a tongue twister.
No, she doesn't. She shut the shop. She shut the shop off.
But for these ladies, the real twist has nothing to do with the tricky arrangement of words.
But what did she do? She opened a coffee shop.
Besties Elaine Davidson and Heather Scammell suffer from an extremely rare speech disorder. That's how they met.
We each one know what the other one is saying. No one else knows. No one else can understand the conversation because we talk gibberish.
Both Elaine and Heather are Australian, but Heather speaks with a thick Italian accent.
Conversation, you just press the button. You don't have to type.
Elaine sounds French one day, Italian the next.
Yeah, I remember Mahalia in the 60s. She was a folk singer.
It's called foreign accent syndrome. Other people with the syndrome talk with a Chinese accent.
About 5 years ago now, I had a stroke-like event. So I'm hoping this is as bad as I will get now.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe it's a real condition?
Oh, yes.
No doubt?
No doubt in my mind.
For the wedding, I'm supposed to be like a stick. But I think I'm going to be more like a tree.
Foreign accent syndrome might sound exotic, maybe even slightly comical. But as you'll see tonight, it is as devastating as it is rare.
You have to laugh, otherwise you cry all the time. You get said, the glass is half full, half empty. You have to have half full. Otherwise you cry all the time.
First of all, we've got to talk about your ringtone. It's a bit groovy, isn't it? We'll talk about this later. That's a whole separate discussion.
Hi, this is Heather here. I'm sorry I can't take your call.
Heather Scammell is listening to a recording of herself from 8 years ago.
If you'd like to leave me your name and a message, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks very much. Bye.
Wow.
That sound to me is so weird now. Weird in a way. I don't recognize that voice, really.
That sounds to me, Heather, like an entirely different person.
Yeah, that sound like a Aussie.
A blatant Aussie.
Aussie, yes, and that is what I am. Yes, a blatant Aussie. Not this funny voice. This is me. Underneath this is me. We need to put a bit of a snail bait. Yes. Keep the snail away, don't we?
Get some of that out of the shed.
Heather's accent switched from broad Australian to Italian after a massive stroke.
I like the fresh, homegrown ones, much nicer.
Beautiful.
The last thing I remember was I was buttering toast. And all of a sudden, this very strange feeling came over me. And I remember calling out, what's happening to me? And I went to push up, and then I realized nothing's working. And I tried to move my leg. I thought, oh my God, I've had a stroke. So 1, 2, 3, please.
Okay.
Recovery was slow. It was a couple of months before Heather could speak, and when she did, her family laughed at her.
They're saying, come on, Maria, put the plaster on. And I say, what the hell are you talking about? And in the end, I was becoming very angry, like, you bunch of fools, shut up. I don't want you talking to me like, why are you speaking to me like that?
You thought they were making fun of you?
I did.
So in your mind, the way you were speaking was no different to what it was before the stroke?
No. I could hear my own voice. It seemed to be, I couldn't understand why they were speaking to me and like that. And then suddenly, 3 days later, I hear that voice. I said, oh my God, and now I know why they are talking to me like that. I'm talking like a Italian. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Elaine Davidson also developed foreign accent syndrome after surviving a stroke.
This is in Prague. Pretty nifty place. Here we've got the Salvador Dali collection.
That's Elaine speaking in the background of this old holiday video.
A wonderful place, Prague. Oh, there's that old guy again. And this is just a roadside cafe. And gorgeous cakes.
After the stroke, her voice changed completely.
We're going swimming. Okay. We go slow. We're going swimming.
I got a lot of brain damage in the left hemisphere. That's why when you have a right stroke, it affects the language center of your brain.
You couldn't speak, you couldn't read, you couldn't write.
It's a terrible thing when you can't sign your own name. That's the terrible thing when you can't write your own name. That affected me really terribly.
It was a grueling 6 months before this sixth-generation Australian spoke her first words.
What does everyone think of Nan's hair?
The first thing I said, can I say it?
Yes.
Bitch. For one of the nurses, she was a bitch.
So that's 6 months you've been waiting to get that word out.
She was rolling me over roughly, said, oh, you bitch.
What did that feel like? Was it a little bit gratifying?
Very gratifying. Then I slowly started to talk. I was talking like a French person.
Elaine tells me that once she regained her speech and had a little bit of a flair for the French accent, that you didn't mind that, Bill. There's a little part of you that thought, hang on, oh, no, I could get used to this.
Not too many blokes get to have a different woman each night of the week.
Oh, Bill, you little devil.
Bit of French, bit of Italian.
How does foreign accent syndrome actually occur?
Typically, it is the result of a lesion in the brain that interrupts the connection and changes the speech patterns to a stage where people say you sound foreign or you don't sound like yourself.
Professor Jack Riles from the University of Central Florida is one of the world's leading authorities on foreign accent syndrome.
Physically, it's like a tennis player who gets a sports injury and then is rehabilitated and they can play tennis again, but they don't hold the racket in exactly the same way. They make compensation. So they're still speaking, but with this injury of some sort that changes slightly the way that they speak.
Professor Riles has documented 27 cases of foreign accent syndrome worldwide. The phenomenon is so rare, many people, even some doctors, accuse sufferers of faking it.
There are a lot of doctors and professional people out there that do not believe that this is real. They make me very angry. They say, you just want attention, or you are, what is the latest one? You are anxious and...
Anxiety.
Anxiety, yes, you got anxiety, dear. I say, I do not have bloody anxiety. You give me anxiety saying that. I do not have anxiety, but I'm getting anxiety now. And what's more, I'm feeling a little bit homicidal because you make me, you should not say that. This is a very real condition. Not only does it change your voice, it changes your whole life. Before this, I was a working person. I was a normal, everyday person doing my own thing. Just like you. This could happen to you tomorrow. I don't say I have a bad life, but to these people who think that this is not a real condition, well, I'm sorry, I'm living it. It bloody well is.
Next, from this...
My mother and father joined other people in Chicago.
To this.
My mother and father joined other people in Chicago to have sausage for breakfast.
Unlocking the mystery of foreign accent syndrome.
It is a loss, and I can't just snap my fingers and that voice will be back.
N'existe pas sans son contraire, qui lui semble facile à trouver. Le bonheur n'existe que pour plaire, je le veux.
So he knows how to sit. So, like, let's see, is S, sit. Good boy. And then, so the moment he says it, he does it, he's a good boy, right?
Yeah.
You can make off...
American dog trainer Ellen Spencer has been living with foreign accent syndrome for 10 years.
Hey, S, look, down. That's a good boy.
She developed the condition after being struck down with a severe migraine.
Good boy. That's a good boy.
Why do you think after this migraine event you emerged speaking so thickly in that French accent?
Well, and it wasn't just the French, because some people says you are German, some say French, some says Scandinavian, had people say Irish. I even had one people say Japanese. I'm like...
Someone said you sounded Japanese.
But you notice the one thing they do not say? Not a single person said I sound Spanish. Guess which was the only foreign language I studied?
Spanish.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the ya. I mean,
I cannot tell the ya.
The ya is obviously distinctly German.
Yeah.
You've never been to Germany?
No.
You've never been to France? Anywhere in Eastern Europe?
No, ever. When people were trying to decide what did I sound like, French was the one who come up. But I still, from the very get-go, could not say mother, father. Those sound Swedish. Mother, father, book, dog. Truth, I tell you the truth is in the book. That sounds very Swedish.
But Ellen has found a way to tap into her old self, although it requires immense physical strain.
You might not forgive me for this, Ellen, but I've been storing up in my mind some of the words that I've noticed are most difficult for you.
Yeah.
My mother and father joined other people to have...
Here's Ellen repeating the line in her usual voice.
Okay, so my mother and father joined other people in Chicago to have sausage for breakfast.
Now, listen to what happens when she focuses on using the right side of her brain.
My mother and father joined other people in Chicago to have sausage for breakfast.
Wow.
And does it not look like somebody just dubbed my voice over?
I feel like I'm talking to a different person. What just happened?
So what's happening right now is I'm holding on really tight to the singing side of my brain to take words that I want to say and sing them real quick. So I'm getting to where I can almost do it spontaneously, but now I'm tired. So what will happen is I'll start going into the accent again.
It's like a switch between a different personality, Ellen, I have to say. It's incredible.
What I'm doing is taking the words that are from the language part from the brain and put them to the singing part and allowing them to come out. So in the beginning, I could work on one single word, like mother, and sing it, mother, 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 and then sing it, mother, mother, mother. And bring it back and say mother.
You were able to almost flip entirely back into your old way of speaking.
That was a pentathlon. I mean, my head hurt right after I did that. It really, really hurt. And so I can't do that for a sustained period.
About 30% of people get their old voices back spontaneously, but once 4 years has gone by, the chances of recovery are remote.
It is a loss, and I will confess, I've been depressed.
How bad did it get?
I get in bed, stay in bed, you know.
You are certainly entitled to that sadness, Ellen, because it has been a rough ride for you.
Yeah.
What is it that within you triggers that sadness the most?
The fact it's not this voice that said I do to my husband forever and always. It's not this voice that read to my little baby when I put her to bed. Say, I love you, darling. And I can't just snap my fingers and that voice will be back.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Very well, how are you?
Good. What can I get you guys?
Heather and Elaine have had the condition for 6 years.
Can I have this, please?
Absolutely. Done.
Done. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just write that down before I forget.
The odds are they too will have their accents for the rest of their lives.
Something as simple as this, you know, going out and having a coffee, must be a difficult process for you sometimes, just even trying to find the words.
Very difficult. These cards are very important to me. I don't leave the house without them.
So this says latte and mug with handle, 1 sweetener.
Yeah.
Straight and to the point.
Yes.
That's very good. These are great.
Yeah.
But they're very helpful to you, of course.
Oh, very helpful. Some people think I'm drunk. See, please give me time to speak.
Please give me time to speak. And Heather, have you ever used little cards like this or any?
No, I have my husband. He is my mouthpiece sometimes.
You do have a fantastic husband, don't you?
I do, actually. If I'm truthful, I wouldn't be where I am now without Ken. But I don't like him to get a big head, so don't put this on the TV, please. Yeah.
Why do you keep that as your voicemail now? I mean, it's been almost 8 years since you recorded that.
I just think that's me. How could I get rid of that? That is my old self.
What do you love about the new me as opposed to the old me?
And then my husband has to wait on me hand and foot.
That is the perfect answer.
He has got to look after me. I can boss him around.
Hey, come on, let's be honest. You bossed him around beforehand as well.
Yeah, but now I've got a license to do it. But last time we go shopping, we get into trouble. And they tell us we spend too much money, but who care about them?
Life is too short.
That's right.
Right now, there is no cure or treatment for foreign accent syndrome. But Heather and Elaine aren't the type to let anything get them down. They might have lost their Aussie voices, but they haven't lost their sense of humour.
They are so tough, our husbands.
Like kittens.
Coming up.
In a nation that loves sport, you won't get a better sporting fairy tale than this one.
Prince of Penzance, history in swimming and Michelle Payne.
Jockey Michelle Payne beating the odds.
The first lady to win the Melbourne Cup.
From the stables.
I stalked Michelle. Am I allowed to tell that story? God.
All the way to the silver screen.
This is the greatest Australian sports film ever made, and I want to make it
Who could forget Michelle Payne's 2015 ride into history when she became the first female jockey to win the Melbourne Cup? Or her victory speech immediately afterwards, where she told those in the racing establishment who refused to give women a go to, in her words, get stuffed. Actor Rachel Griffiths felt sure there was a film in that glorious display of girl power. She was right.
Like any Melbourneian who's not at the actual track on that day, I was at a barbecue. You know, we had our sweep and the snags were on, and we all came in to watch the race. And we had a lot of girls in the room. The pack comes around into the 300.
Coming past the 300 metres.
You hear this kind of little bit of excitement in the racecaller's voice.
Here's Prince of Penzance coming on down the outside.
Then we heard the name, Michelle Payne on Prince of Penzance. And I was like, is there a girl riding in this race? And then all the girls just went ballistic. Go, Michelle! Go, Michelle! Go, Michelle! And it drowned out everything.
Prince of Penzance, it's history in Flemington, Michelle Payne.
And then when she crossed that finish line, the girls in the room just erupted. They all started screaming. And then there was that kind of wonderful moment. It's Michelle Payne, history made here at Flemington.
Michelle Payne has created history at Flemington, the first lady to win the Melbourne Cup.
While actor Rachel Griffiths was celebrating at a barbecue, funny man Mick Malloy was at the track. His money on Michelle.
It was 100 to 1. 100 to 1, and we.
How much did you have on him?
Well, I was in a syndicate with about 6 mates.
I love it. So you actually won on the day.
We won on the day. Wish I could say I cried tears of joy for Michelle Payne, but I firstly cried of joy for me, so I just won a bucket load of cash. And then I went, and how very special it was too for the ladies.
What an incredible chapter has been written here in the history of the great race.
It wasn't just the groundbreaking ride that grabbed our attention, but the feisty young jockey who seized the moment to champion women.
Just want to say to everyone else can get stuff because they think women aren't strong enough, but we just beat the world.
You can go get stuffed, a lot of you, which is my catchphrase. She's doing my material.
I first met Michelle when she was still on a high from that incredible race, still reliving every moment in the saddle on Prince of Penzance.
He sprinted like I couldn't believe. He let loose, and I've never yelled at a horse so loud in my life. When I went over the line, I just took a deep breath and I just was like, you have just won the Melbourne Cup. It was so surreal. It was a dream come true.
And by her side on that memorable day was her brother, horse strapper Stevie.
To see Stevie to lead me in was probably the most special moment, I think, of the whole race. When I got off and I was able to hug him and I said, you helped do this, you picked Barry 1, this is us together. And he had tears in his eyes, and I've never ever seen Stevie emotional ever in my whole life. And I was like, oh my God, don't lose it. That was the point where I thought I might cry.
She takes off the goggles, and it was one of those kind of, oh my God, and she's beautiful. And then Stevie runs out onto the track. I was like, oh my God, who's that? Oh my God, it's her brother. And then she gets off the horse and tells everybody that if anyone doesn't think women can beat the world, they can get stuffed because women can do anything. And I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm in love. This is the greatest Australian sports film ever made, and I want to make it. Which is probably a little bit arrogant and stupid of me. But here we are.
And it was all here on that day.
This was it. It was a beautiful day, sun was out. It was one of the nicest days at the Melbourne Cup ever.
Rachel knew nothing about racing and she'd never directed before, but she was determined to bring Michelle's story to the big screen.
When did you two first meet?
We met in Sydney.
Yeah, in Randwick.
Yeah.
I stalked Michelle. My friends, I was still trying to get Michelle's, people to line up a meeting, and my friend Dominic and Sydney just said, Michelle's going to be at Randwick this weekend. And I said, OK, I'm going to do it.
Rachel convinced Michelle that her story was in good hands. Stevie thought the movie was a great idea.
It's a pretty big deal, isn't it, to have a Hollywood movie made about you guys?
Yeah. A little bit overwhelming.
Yes, I like to say he's going to play he.
You going to play yourself?
Don't know.
Think it'd be a good idea?
Maybe.
Would you do it?
Yeah. Why not?
Otherwise, who's going to play you?
Yeah.
Do you need acting lessons or have you got it sorted?
Got it sorted.
Is it the quintessential Aussie sports story?
I think it is. It's a fairy tale, it's racing, it's outdoors, it's colourful characters. I think racing's a fairy tale. And 100-to-1 shot with a woman on board for the first time. It does have all the elements. It is a bit of a masterpiece of fantasies. Everything conspired on that day for a result that will echo throughout racing history.
Coming up,
All right, let's put one in the can, folks.
how Rachel Griffiths turned the story of a racing long shot
You're riding slow, pick it up.
I want to ride Group 1s. I want to be the best. Hi, I'm Michelle Payne.
into a surefire big screen hit.
The only thing that matters is the odds you give yourself.
Ride Like a Girl is the movie based on that history-making moment when Michelle Payne won the Melbourne Cup.
Like a girl is used by so many boys as an insult. You throw like a girl, you run like a girl, you catch like a girl. Well, in this film, we want to kind of claim that back and say, like a girl means winning.
And just like Michelle, Rachel is a winner. Her career took off 25 years ago when she appeared in the much-loved film Muriel's Wedding. She went on to conquer Hollywood, earning critical acclaim and a swag of awards.
Yeah, we're taking over the world. I think we're paying America back for all those bad actors they sent us during the 80s.
I had the most extraordinary time in America. You know, it was a decade of being in the A game as an actor, but I always felt I was telling these incredibly American stories and kind of faking that I understood them. And they never sat entirely comfortably. So coming home, you know, my big hope was that I could come home and tell Australian stories.
And there's nothing more Aussie than an underdog winning the Melbourne Cup.
Prince of Penzance, history in Flemington, Michelle Payne.
Michelle's brother Stevie was her strapper that day and was there to cheer her on to victory. Together, they defied the odds.
Stevie Payne, you're the man of the moment. You drew the barrier one for her. Yeah. What a proud moment.
That was a great moment. It's a great win. It's a great ride. 10 out of 10.
The bond that she has with Stevie is so special, and I think we captured that love, that absolute no-limit love that they have for each other.
That bond was obvious when I sat down with Michelle and Stevie when the film was first announced back in 2016.
Who should play Michelle?
No idea.
Who's your favourite actress?
I can't say, Adam Sandler. I don't know who it'd be in.
Like female actress.
Oh, female actors. No idea.
Hi, I'm Michelle Payne. I'm a jockey. I'm available for track work.
Was it tough casting the role of Michelle?
Teresa Palmer was my #1 choice. She's gutsy. I know she's got heart. She's beautiful. She was riding every day before she arrived for months. In pre-production, she was out on the track every day.
Nice and quiet, thank you.
Yes, it's almost your turn.
And the decision to cast Stevie as Stevie was just as easy.
Teresa Palmer totally fell in love with Stevie, and I think I think a little vice versa.
Can I do this?
I know the horse can. She's got to be a champion.
Look, actually, everyone does their best work with Stevie. He has a kind of a magical effect.
Who's going to look after you if you're paralysed?
I will.
Did Stevie love it?
Stevie loved it. He loved being in the makeup trailer. He loved the endless supply of bacon, eggs and food. And, you know, I think he loved the girls always, you know, around him. And Stevie's just used to being with a big group of people. So we as filmmakers, you know, it's a family.
Stevie was one of 10 children raised by legendary horse trainer Paddy Payne. Michelle was the youngest. She was only 6 months old when their mother Mary died.
I did hear stories that after Michelle lost her mother, that there was an idea that a man couldn't possibly manage all those children, and that perhaps, you know, someone should take 3 or 4 or 5 and make it, you know, easier. And Paddy said, no, we're going to stick together. So hats off to him.
What did you learn about the strong bonds in the Payne family?
In this family, you had to work if you wanted to eat. If you wanted attention, you had to ride, and if you wanted respect, you had to win. And it's a wonderful message, I think, as a contemporary parent, where we do so much for our children, that you realise actually when all the children have to work to stay together, that brings a family together. And maybe that's the biggest gift you can give your kids.
What sort of jockey would you like to see?
I just want to win the Melbourne Cup.
All set to go for the Melbourne Cup. Stand by for the race that stops the nation.
Paddy watched 8 out of his 10 children become jockeys, but it was his youngest, Michelle, that would bring home the ultimate prize.
Well, well, well. What about that? Who would have thought so? Who would have thought so, little girl?
It's a great family story, but at its heart is a father-daughter relationship. I'll tell you this, I came out of that film and the first thing I thought was, I really wish I had a daughter. It was so moving, and it was such a wonderful thing.
Michelle come last, Dad.
Yeah, I noticed that, Steve.
Michelle come last, Dad.
Thanks, Steve. Don't say it, Stevie.
Sam Neill takes on the role of stoic dad, Paddy.
Dad, please, just tell her.
I did try to do that once. Didn't work out so well.
You can have an A-list actor like Sam, but he still needs someone wonderful to play with. And that's just so clear in this film. He makes everyone better.
We boom boom Dr. Turk.
He kind of steals the film. Him and Mick Malloy.
How'd she run?
Yeah, clean of the wind, big strong action on the straight.
All right, we'll take her round again. Easy. Another pain, eh?
Yeah.
Is that tap ever going to be turned off?
Mick Malloy plays an old-school horse trainer, resistant to the idea of female jockeys.
Well, I put on 20 pounds for the role. Yeah, they didn't ask me to. I just decided. Thought that would be a good idea. They wanted, what's my character? How would you describe it? He's like an overweight, nasty misogynist, which fortunately falls within my very narrow range. Wasn't a stretch. How's your dad?
Good. Yeah, good.
Say good day to him for me.
I really need not actor faces, I need character. I need men to kind of embody, not in a bad way, but to embody the Australian male, which Mick totally brings.
I think some arsehole racing types, I think, was what she was looking for, which I delivered in spades.
Who's that riding your horse, Betty?
A woman jockey.
The girl's never going to win the Melbourne Cup, mate.
Get off me! Get back to where you belong!
You must be exhausted.
Work twice as hard and get half the ride.
And as much as this story is about family, it doesn't shy away from the dangers of the sport.
I've lost 2 of them, Father.
It is a jockey story, so if we didn't capture how insane and dangerous riding is, and it's loud.
And smashed 6 cameras doing it.
And smashed 6 cameras.
No horses were injured in the filming, but the star, Teresa Palmer, almost was.
Her horse got spooked and just took off. And unbeknownst to me, this horse had raced at Flemington some 4 years earlier.
It's not just about speed. It's about patience.
And he had a little flashback. And he thought he was back in the game, and he took off just full gallop. Needless to say, she hit the grass, so we heard her come off, and she was fine. And all the jockeys that day basically gave her a guard of honour on the way home. God knows what would have happened. Am I allowed to tell that story?
God, you nearly killed the star of the movie.
Is that a bad story to tell?
Michelle, what'll happen if Dad goes away? What will happen with me then?
I'll look after you, buddy.
Because you haven't got a boyfriend.
But at the heart of the film is the special love between the 2 youngest children, Michelle and her brother Stevie.
What'll happen if you die?
And it's an extraordinary moment because it goes actually to the selfishness of being an elite anything. That if you have your eyes set on something, it will be actually a selfish journey. And in that moment, Michelle can't say that she'll stop riding.
Michelle hasn't made a decision when she'll stop riding, but one thing's for sure, Stevie will be with her all the way.
Is she your best friend?
Best friend, forever. I can't live without her.
Can't live without me?
No.
Oh, that's nice. Can't live
Definitely
without you.
Do you reckon she could do it again?
I reckon she couldn't.
Life has been quite a ride for Stevie and Michelle.
He's just having an absolute ball. He loves taking in all the crowd, and he's really getting them going, so it's just fantastic. I think he was made for this.
They've shared the stage together, and now with the film about to open, they're back in the spotlight once again.
Who's the biggest star out of the 2 of you, do you think?
Dunno.
I think they might love you more than me, do you think?
Not too sure. Wait and see.
What a fabulous story, and it is far from over. Michelle hopes to ride at least one more Group 1 winner before she retires in the next year or 2. Rachel has also caught the racing bug and is now a part owner in one of the horses that Michelle trains with Stevie. And at the age of 83, their dad, Paddy, is back training again. Meanwhile, Prince of Penzance is enjoying a thoroughly well-earned retirement in the Victorian countryside. The movie Ride Like a Girl is in theatres next month. Next, did the magic last?
How is it now?
I'm just a bit overwhelmed.
That's all right.
Sorry, I never thought I was going to be able to do that.
1 year on, we check in with energy healer Charlie Goldsmith's most challenging patient.
I think Charlie's a miracle. I really do. He has a gift.
Is your gift powerful enough to save lives?
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably think that you are better now.
Something definitely happened, there's no doubt about that. And I thought, this is amazing. But unfortunately, I woke up in the morning and the pain was back.
You ready? All right, again. How was that? You feel good?
It is like a miracle to me. It's absolutely great.
You can dance.
Yes, I can.
That was energy healer Charlie Goldsmith last year, working with a group of chronic pain sufferers we selected to test his gift. The story attracted a huge response, some very positive, some less so. One viewer grumbled, "Look at all the suckers who believe this." And from another, "Belief can do a lot, but I don't believe it for a second." And then came this. "I say we need a whole lot more Charlies." But the comment that best expressed viewers' thoughts on the story was this one. So it works, but does it last though? Well, we decided to find out. One of the people Charlie met was Linda Hayhurst. She had osteoarthritis and chronic daily back pain that she rated 10 out of 10. She spoke to Dr. Karen Coates just prior to meeting Charlie. Make up your own mind. Good night.
How is your sleeping?
Not good. I never have a good night's sleep. I just toss and turn the whole time, and if it's not my back, it's my hips or my knee, or it's just a nightmare.
And what about stairs? How do you cope with
Stairs?
stairs?
Oh, I have to hold on to the railing, and I have to kick my leg out to the side to get upstairs.
Do you ever have a good day?
I don't have a day without pain, no.
Okay. Okay. How is it now?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's better.
So no pain?
Not any pain, no. Oof. No pain. No pain.
No pain?
That's good. It's great. Just tight. I'm just a bit overwhelmed.
That's all right.
Sorry, I never thought I was going to be able to do that. That was the day I met Charlie Goldsmith 14 months ago. Science can't fathom it out. I can't fathom it out. They can't explain why I feel so amazing and why I haven't got any pain. My back pain was 10 out of 10. That's not something that's just in here going, oh, yeah, you know, you're making it up. It happened. It happened. How I used to wake up in the morning, get out of bed, I'd have to pull myself over with my little stick here, very slowly, much slower than this, and I'd get my body down on the ground and pull myself up, and, oh. But now, alarm goes off, none of that stuff. Just, oh, yeah, yeah, because I'm half asleep. And I say, thank you, Charlie. How has my life changed? Well, from opening my eyes up in the morning to getting out of bed, to going to the toilet, to walking down the stairs, to having my breakfast, hanging out the washing, getting in my car, going to work, completely everything in my life has changed. Just everything I can think of, because I don't ever have to stop and think about, can I do this? Do I have to do it a different way? I just do everything now without even thinking. My whole body just feels amazing. I think I'm going to go into my older age without this chronic pain coming back ever. Charlie said it would be permanent. I don't think it's going to come back, but my body is still going to age. But I don't have that pain. I feel like I've got my youth back. I feel like I can be young again. You can't express, you can't think of the words amazing, fantastic, all of that stuff, but you can't explain how you've had years and years and years of chronic pain, how amazing you feel. There's no words for it. You just feel like you've been reborn.